the three periods, that's maybe interesting to talk about. When you talk about pigeons and racing preparation, three preparations: breeding, molting, racing. The most important thing generally in all these three things is the health. So a pigeon which is not healthy, you cannot talk about feeding or anything else. So, and for that we are lucky, we have the vets here who do the examination. Okay, good. But as well in that part, two parts: the health part, so that the bird doesn't have canker, coccidian, worms or anything else, one part. And the second part is the vaccination part, which is very important these days. So the obligation for vaccines, for example, for the paramyxo, which you have to do. Lucky we are that we have to do that, because you cannot afford anymore that you don't vaccinate against that. So
Typhus also?
that's another.
Which one do you use for paramyxo?
I use for paramyxo the Chivita. Chivita. Before I use as well the Spanish one, Hipra, very well. But you know, the biggest problem with the vaccines are good, but the how you get them,
Substance.
and depending on also how much you charge. We are lucky that the prices are going down, and they should go, because you have now.
Yeah.
We need more vaccines. Okay, so paramyxo very important.
And when do you do this?
In these three periods, we do, for example, for the breeding, our breeding starts 25th of November, so we do it 3 weeks before the paramyxo. For the molting, there's nothing to do because they are vaccinated, okay? And for the racing, we vaccinate as well a few months before we start racing. We start in March, so after winter time, we vaccinate them.
In January.
Paramyxo. Yeah, depending on how cold or strong the winter is. And then pox as well, but pox only the racing birds, not the breeders. Because if you keep the pox in your racing team under control, you shouldn't have problems during the
Racing.
And this after how many weeks after the paramyxo?
paramyxo and pox we usually do at the same time. Yeah, that's possible. And then some people vaccinate against herpes virus. I don't do that because my vet is against it, and I must say when you take 10 vets, one says yes, one says no. So there is different opinions, and I cannot answer on that for myself. I follow my vet, my brother-in-law, and he says, okay, Jos, it doesn't work. We do it after that. We find the test. Okay, I follow his advice on that. Then for paratyphus, which is a coming up problem these last years, paratyphus, so as well there, when you have lots of birds entering from different lofts, it is really as well necessary to vaccinate. Actually, I vaccinated from one side last week all my birds against paratyphus, all my pigeons. Yeah.
Once a year or?
Every time
I follow as well my brother-in-law, the vet Norbert Peters, and he says that he has a very good vaccine, but the vaccines against paratyphus seem not to cover all the salmon. Yes. And in that case, I do it once a year, but it's possible that you need to do it twice a year. Depending on if your loft had ever problems with it, it's better twice a year. That's so for the vaccines. In my case, that's the only thing for the vaccines. Okay.
Paratyphus you do before breeding and before racing.
Exactly the same. The breeding birds now, okay, and the racing birds before racing season.
Because of the eggs and the babies.
So first is
yes,
paratyphus
because a part of the immune system they take over when the egg is coming. Sorry.
The paratyphus is before paramyxo or after?
The paratyphus now for the breeders now 3 weeks before the paramyxo. So that's the part of the vaccination. Of course, the part of the rest of the health before you check them if they can be vaccinated, they have to be healthy. Yes, okay, canker checkup, dropping checkup. Of course, you do that, and coccidian, of course. And depending on that, of course, you treat the birds. Okay, you treat the pigeons, and then. When they are treated, they are free. The rest is, of course, good feeding. The feeding, actually, it's quite simple in my case because I have a mixture Tony Premium Olympiad, which I gave all year round. Ludo from Bideko, he knows it exactly. I give all year round. It's a nice mixture. I think I can say that my results are through the years constantly are good. And I think part of it is maybe because of the easy system. All year round, the same mixture, okay? Keep it easy. I have my mother here, 82 years old, my father, 81 years old. I have Marcel here as a loft manager, his wife. Everyone can feed my birds.
Is there anything special you look during the breeding?
One of the most important periods is when I prepare them before mating. And then, to be honest, I give a lot of side products. Yeah. I really think it's good because also it helps you to keep the weight of the bird good. Yeah. In that case, actually, every day I give something. For example, I don't know, egg food for sure. And I give them then the products on the grains. Yeah. Not so much on the water, except the herbamzine, the tonic, the T-tonic,
And do you give beer yeast?
Yes, the beer.
Mixture of minerals?
No, the beer yeast and actually, yes, I give that one. Now in molting time, very much, really very much. Yes, very much because of the new changement of the feather. It's the liver cleaning, and this is important. But like I said, for the breeding, almost every day. One day this on the grain. Sometimes I make it then wet with the amino plus, even some, and even the energy oil or the garlic oil. So I really do that because first of all, because I think they need it for especially when the egg is going to come afterwards, and by giving that on the grains, the pigeon becomes not too heavy. Yeah. Very important when you are mating the how do you call it? The weight has to be perfect. And then later on, I continue by giving it weekly, once, twice, sometimes liver cleaning, sometimes the minerals.
But the byproducts you do when they are on the eggs or after? When the eggs come
before. When I made them, because it takes 8 to 10 days before the first egg comes, very important. Then during the sitting on the eggs, regularly, but still regularly, mineral at least once a week. Okay, these things. But then, when the youngsters are coming out, again, I give a little bit more, again, because of when the crop milk is coming as well important. Yeah. To be honest, for breeding, I mean, really good to give some side products. Really, really good. And I must admit that in summertime, I sometimes forget it because then I'm busy with racing and you forget that breeders need that support because of the next youngsters as well. During breeding, when the winter is very, very hard, we give more energy, we support by breeding the galaxy and the
extra products
that we give them only with because I bred super youngsters with only that mixture. But I feel when it's very cold, minus so much, and then, or for example, when the breeders had third, fourth round, and then they are losing more energy, and then you have to be careful. Then you have to give maybe some more. In wintertime, these youngsters suffer very hard. They suffer first of all from the winter. Sometimes you cannot let them out when it's snow, and you have to wait a few months, and they have the chance to lose them. You suffer by the hogs. They come out, and the first thing is the hog between. So you will immediately lose some of them. They suffer about the health problems because it's a little bit a forced system. It is more difficult to keep them, not naturally, it's more difficult to keep them healthy in winter time than afterwards. So these birds, we breed them from all the racers, we raise them and we see what's in. And then later on we breed the birds which we keep for the coming years. During the breeding, like I told you, they get regularly the side products, okay? But when we weigh them, what I think is then very important, that's the bioflorum. Yeah. That's for me very important. The intestine. Bioflorum and then the herbamzine together with the tonic. A few days that, a few days that is very important. The bacteria system on level, and very important this is my opinion, a golden product, bioflorum.
The herbazima is to acidify.
I know.
Yes.
You know, okay.
That's
Then
the
I
English
don't need
word.
to explain.
No, but
You
we
know.
have to explain
But
for the
biofloral,
fanciers, huh? Yes.
In the water, mostly done. You can also do it on the corn. Yes, if you want to keep your water clean, you can put herbazima diluted with a little bit oil or water on the corn, and then the bioflorum is fiber actually. It's the only one who has the active probiotic calsporina, so it's a registered product.
That's a great product.
And it cleans actually the intestinal environment. So it takes away the toxins out of the intestines produced by possible coli, and the cloaca is cleaned. And this is very important. So
What Ludo explains is what I see on a pigeon. You see it when you give the MSA that it's something.
it's not a wonder product, but it's a healthy product. So the pigeon will not go faster, but you can assure that the pigeons are in a good health.
Yeah, to give the young birds that natural health.
Exactly.
That is really that is important.
Because we also have in Romania the old generation who began only with corn and a good bird, and that was everything he used to give them, and only the strongest pigeons survived and made results. And these guys are the conservative ones, the nostalgic ones, and they really try to promote this idea of building a strong pigeon with no support of medicines, only to keep him natural.
Maybe
Don't
they are lucky.
drug him.
Maybe they are lucky
they
and
call
win
him.
one time, but they will not win 10 times.
I love racing. I love racing, but I want to win. So I race everything. Every race there is not a race. Even now there are races in another club, and I go there because I want to race. I love racing so good, and we have the chance. So, but from the other side, I have to think twice. I'm lucky now here. I have Marcel and his wife, which are doing this part. Before I did everything alone with my mother and my father.
The big
That was
advantage also is the racing, and therefore the food, the products, the good management. Yes, and so he can put his selection better than other fanciers also. If you can observe, if you can work on those youngsters, then you immediately know what kind of group is acting better in the system. So
Out of the sprint bird, is there any possibility to have a very good mid-fawn bird or fawn bird?
in these days, when my father-in-law was racing, you could with the same bird could win a speed race and then even maybe Barcelona. But now the speed of the birds, the quality of the bird, the system, the feeding, everything is so perfect now that it goes faster and faster and faster. When 40,000 birds are released in a national race, they follow. They are so fast like an arrow, and they follow it sometimes too long, and the wind and the group brings the winner to that direction. But in 20-30 years ago, the birds were slower. Okay, after 50 km or 1 km, they already split. They went their direction, but that's different now. So you have people which really only race speed, and they really focus on that. And that's why do you think that the Belgian pigeon is so wanted worldwide? Because of that. We have these old-fashioned guys which are, they have 60 years experience, try to win against them on a speed race. And then you sometimes think, oh, there were only 200 birds in the race, but you try to win it. They are so motivated, they have so much experience, and they have such a quality of birds that the quality is good. So, and you have that in speed, you have that in middle distance, you have that, because I am the only one maybe who is racing everything. But when you want to win against them, you need to have the best. And when these birds go then abroad, that's the reason why they have so much success. What is happening these last years, and I was one of the first who did that, making every category faster. So you bring speed into the middle distance or speed into the long distance, and you really make them. And that's probably the reason why all these races become faster and faster. Jan Gonders already 40 years ago, he already said that he went to buy a speed bird because he said a speed pigeon is a clever bird. It has to be very intelligent, he said, to follow the group, to go out of the group. And he brought in, he went to buy from Van Riet his fast bird, his speed bird, and he brought it into his middle distance bird to make, and he really made them fast. And I do that. If you look at the pedigree from Sedna, you have sumo inside. The first bird ever in England which won an international was my sumo bird brought into the long distance birds from England. In 100 years he never could win an international.
That's the good part of breeding, yeah?
Breeding is an art. Breeding is an art. Like racing is an art, breeding is an art.
Of course. So sprint is 100 up to?
For us, 250.
250.
Yeah. Middle distance is for us between 250 and 500. And that's even a category between middle distance and long distance. That's between 500 and around 700. That's the heavy middle distance. And then you have the long distance, it is between 600 and 900. And then you have the overnight races, but the overnight races that used to be Barcelona, Dax, Pau, Perpignan, Saint-Vincent. But now in these international races, 4 of them, they release in the morning, in the evening the birds are back in.
So
most cases.
Now, for example, you have sprint between 100 and 250, right? For example, the champion of sprint distance this year was a bird who won 7 races. How many races do they have to win? 6.
The champion of
sprint.
National
sprint. We have probably the ace pigeon Speed, 7 times first prize. The pigeon one. Babe is the name. Fantastic bird. But she is probably provincial ace pigeon number 1, because provincial it's 8 races which count for the KBDB championship, okay? And national it's only 5 races. I think national she might be 3 or 4, not national. So there you have.
Which is also good.
Yes, no, it's fantastic. She's really fantastic. Look at her result. She's really fantastic. Okay.
Made this year?
This year, yeah. And the amazing thing about that bird, you are saying about bringing speed into, this is the opposite. Her mother won 6th national in Libourne in a national race, and the father is the brother from Gagan who won 1st national in the heavy middle distance races. So and he won.
To 600 kilometers.
Yeah,
this was
unbelievable. But in the background you find Avril, you find the speed, my speed birds.
For example, if I buy your best midfond bird who flew very good at 300 km, for 7 races, first prize at 300 km, I can buy it and hope to have good youngsters out of it who can fly sprint, but also who can fly midfond, and also who can fly big midfond.
Yes. If you look on my website, you can see it. Oliver. Remember the name Oliver, that pigeon. He wins this year 5th national from 13,000 birds, I think in the shuttle race. You must check it afterwards if I'm not lying. But the bird wins also a speed race from Chimay, first prize. Okay? From 140 km, he wins the first prize from 200 km. So all the distance. So that's because of, I have the luck that I have good birds in speed, middle distance, long distance, overnight. The only thing which is very difficult when you have the really long distance, they are sometimes too slow. For example, if the Barcelona race is very hard, you really need a character bird. That's something different.
Okay, but that's
yes. But all the rest, you will see it. You will if you look.
You do this, if I may.
Yes.
You do this all with the same food program.
Absolutely.
100
yes.
kilometers, the same. As
I start with them. But for example, that bird Babe, as a young bird, she flew a 600 race. Okay, just okay, nothing special. So. Last year, and we are now 2017, okay, in 16. And then I start racing her in 17, and she wins 1 first after the other in a speed race. So I said to Marcel, let's keep that bird in the speed races because she's so good. Yeah. But pedigree-wise, she should go up to 700.
This is what I want.
This is fantastic, this is fantastic. And you because your question, Lulu, is the feeding system. Yes, they get the feeding system, and I raise them, and I see, when you are good there, okay, I keep you in that race.
You can leave there.
If you check the real champions, for example, on heavy middle distance, you will see they also win some of them on speed, or the real champions are really they are good. But you will not see a extreme long distance bird winning a speed race. You will not see that.
Different.
No.
Yeah, because we hear often in Romania that it's one day bird who can fly everything, which ends in one day, and they believe they can fly from 100 up to 800 or 900.
Yeah.
That's
Which is, I think, too much. Maybe 500.
You know what will happen?
600.
Yes, what will happen when the bird is really a fast bird, and the race from 900 will be a hard race. It is possible that it's broken for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Because to fly that 900 when it's a hard race, it needs something else than just fast. So.
If they have a backwind, then you can put it maybe.
But that's
in
the
there.
beautiful thing in the pigeon sport. Always looking
this
for
is
me as well.
also-
At night, I'm thinking about these
This
things.
is also country-wise. Yes, our Belgium system
Yep.
is completely different.
Yes.
Compared with Romanian,
Or
Polish,
Germany.
German system, and they all
Yeah.
play in groups, and
Yeah.
they say 13 races, or in
Yeah.
Poland even 15 races,
Yeah.
with starting with 200 kilometer, 500, 300, 400, 600. So they did evaluate until 1,000
Yeah.
kilometer.
Yeah.
So it's another pigeon, it's another system.
Yeah. No. I had a guy from the Philippines a few years ago. I was in the Philippines, and he said, "Just you must help me to be champion." I said, "Okay, what is the racing system?" We only have to fly 7 times, but just come back. Oh, I said, "That's no problem. That's no problem. I send you my bird, which comes back after 3 days from Barcelona." Really, which I did. I sent them the birds which were not good enough in our system, but character birds. Really character, always returning. Because I send them champion afterwards. No problem. Became champion. The important lesson is you have to, I say it like that to the people, to the fanciers. You have to cultivate the pigeon where you live. I live in an area where the group is not always passing. Okay, I do not want to complain about that. I have to create a bird which will win here. I have to. When you live in the area where the birds are coming in, okay, good, but still you need to be the best there, and you have to create your pigeon for that area. When I race in Germany, where my pigeon has to fly 11 times, with the final race around 600 km, but it's not only returning, but it just has to win the prize. If it just misses one time the prize, okay.
You're out.
When we need to enter a bird like that in our race, and you see these German birds are doing, for example, very well in one-loft races, and probably that's the reason. They have to return, and some of them are even winning several times. So these are good birds, but that's for example an important quality, my opinion, for one-loft races. Now you can see my loft manager. That's my mother, and she does the pigeon. She is the loft manager. And you see, and she brings the special cake. 80, she just became 81 years old.
Is that for sleepy?
For breeding, I cannot use her anymore, but for cooking and the pigeon loft, she's perfect. Look what she made, especially for. And she has some special dishes. This is one of her, and then she makes some special goulash, and for the pigeon club, she makes once a while a cake. But this I only get it when it's my birthday. So maybe you are special that you get this. This looks really nice.
You see, every good fancier needs support.
Yes.
So
it's all a team, eh?
If you look everywhere, it's very difficult to run everything by yourself.
But it took me a long time to train her. Now she's perfect. I said I hope she can become one team Tony. And so, any secret that you want to ask her? You see what she's feeding. Yes. She's a fan from Beyers. You can see that. She's. And like I said, why do I think this loft is good? Also only 60 centimeters. But very strange, the 60 centimeter is sometimes too cold, but not in this loft. You know, you can feel the little sun which comes in all day around. And here, the balance between air, sun, is fantastic. It's really top. It's really top. You feel the climate on this loft. It's great. That's that pigeon, Oliver. I told you that bird, very, very special pigeon. First prize from 140 km up to 650 km. Great pigeon. Of course, they are molting now. So I think it was shuttle race this year, 5th from 13,000, and he was 10th from 13,000. Jonker also won a semi-national or a national in the zone. This pigeon is the grandfather to Babe, that pigeon which won 7 times first prize in speed. Great pigeon, huh? Yeah. And you see about how a pigeon have to be. Both are in the same category. Good. He is more heavy, round. He's more longer, and still. So now a little bit another type. That bird. What we did here as well, we brought the yearlings are also moved to this loft, and they can sit in these perches. Great pigeon, huh? Here you see, they can go all day here in that aviary, but this is also the place where we give them a bath. In that aviary, okay?
Never inside.
Yes, never inside, no. Okay, so we raise total widowhood. That means cocks are here and hens are from the back side. So as well, the hens, when they are coming in, they're going like that, and they are going here into that section. I have here somewhere is that hen, Babe, with 7 first prizes. Come on. This is a super hen. Sua is her name. Lots of first prizes she won. A daughter from Thea. Great pigeon.
What's the secret when you look inside their throat?
For me, no secret. Oh, health. I look inside. If, for example, the pink color, healthy, and the throat not too white. But for me, the first impression when you take the bird in the hand.
Here to be.
Some people are looking. You have people which look at certain, but for me, it's the balance, complete balance. The bird. You can have another type. There's another type than that one, and both are good. This is that hen Babe which won 7 times first prize in speed. She's really the number one at the moment in fast races.
So hard backbone.
Yeah, she is really great in the hand. She's, like, for example, this one is longer. Okay, she's short, but she's like beautiful, round, and the better they fly, the more beautiful they become, huh?
Yeah.
For example, this one has a beautiful eye. That one, Sua, top eye. Yep, fantastic pigeon. So, and I told you, her mother won 6 national in the Libourne race. So, from pedigree-wise, you saw the 10th national is her grandfather. The 10th national you just saw the blue one. Jonker is the name. It's the grandfather. So in her pedigree, you find the long distance bird, a speed bird, a middle distance bird, but the second generation, all champions. All champions.
That's the secret.
Yeah, that's the secret.
The blood. Are you going to fly her?
Yep.